we are back out in the garage, or my fortress of solitude as I'd like to say. We are going to be working on the RB26 today. In today's video, we're going to be getting the oil pan and the rear diff off. I'm going to go ahead and take off the water pump, the oil pump, the front idler pulleys, and I would like to get the pistons, the crankshaft, connecting rods, everything, and the entire bottom end out. I want to inspect the bearings, see what the actual issue was from the track, and kind of get a good look at everything, because I'm getting ready to order the Nitto stroker kit probably here in like the next, I don't know, maybe the next month or 6 weeks. I'm doing 50 hours of overtime a month, so it's adding up pretty quick. So I'll be able to get this going, and we have the 2022 WRX coming here pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to have lots of WRX content come to the channel, so you guys stay up on that. I can't wait. And I also wanted to share something with you guys. I'm going to be going to California at the end of this month. We're going to be going to Trust Hikaku. I sent them an email. I'm going to pick up some parts from their new shop, their new location, and I talked to them about filming in the shop when I pick stuff up, so hopefully they let me do that. It'd be kind of cool. That's what Tommy F. Yeah did. As soon as the shop basically opened, he was there picking up parts for JDM Space, or whatever his business is called up there. But yeah, we're going to go see a few other things. We're going to go to Streets of Willow. We're going to go to Ars Day. So if you guys are going to be down in that area, if you see me, come say hi. I'm excited. I'm going to try to see Dustin Williams, and if I see any other YouTubers, I'll go say hello. And we're also going to go swing by Top Rank on the 1st of May. And I don't know, I think I'm going to go to a bunch of different Fast and Furious locations. I'm going to go see like the house in LA there, and the Toretto's Market. And I think I'm going to go down along the waterfront and go check out, what was it called, like Neptune's Net or something like that, where he raced the Supra against that Ferrari. I'd like to go to Dodger Stadium, where he did that, my car topped out at 140 miles an hour. I just want to go to like all the different places in California when I'm there. And I'm going to go check out the crash site where Paul Walker and Roger, I think Rojas, I think is how you say his name, where they lost their lives. So I want to go check that out back in 2013. So I went to the house and I went to Toretto's Market before I was doing YouTube or anything like that. So I've been to those two locations before. And I want to go back and like film it and actually spend time. I was there with my wife and my kids, and my wife was not in the best mood and she wanted to get out of there. So unfortunately, I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to, but that's me rambling and just vlogging and kind of having a little bit of a rant. So let's get on to the RB26. Guys, you can see the hardware's all loosened now, and there's they're all different sizes. So like this one here is different than this one here, so I'm going to leave them inside the housing, and we're just going to go ahead and use like a couple of these holes and pry it off with a long screwdriver. And I've already taken my little pick tool and I basically just picked along the RTV kind of at the top and stuff, just trying to get it a little bit loose, so it'll help it be a little easier to break free at these points. Missed this one right here, kind of a noob move, but there's so much RTV gunked in there that I really missed it. This is where this N1 pump likes to leak from. Alright, let's see what happens here. Yep, just like that. So I wanted to get a peek at the N1 pump with you guys. which as you see here is this has on the water impeller here, see how there's a back plate? What that's supposed to do is it's basically it's hydrodynamic physics, and what that means is it creates less cavitation. So as this thing's spinning above 4,000 RPMs, because it's more of a like enthusiast or weekend track car style water pump, racing pump, you don't get those air bubbles and it flows more water and it's supposed to be more efficient. But that's kind of a cool little peek at it. And you can see how with this coolant sitting in there, it definitely gets a little rusty with it just sitting there in the bottom of the pump. Alright, so here's a look at the crank collar, and I'm having an issue where it's basically stuck. I can't get it to wiggle or move, so I'm going to use a grinder and basically just cut a little slit in the top and then split it in half with a chisel to remove it, and I'll have to buy a new one. So I cut pretty deep. That's kind of what it's looking like. Let me see if I can break it. Alright, I've got it loose now. There we go. So crank collar timing gear is off, and that's the front of the crankshaft. And the issue you can see is all the rust that was in there, it was basically just kind of seized into position. So once I kind of grind it in there and was able to knock it loose and get the little key piece out, that's kind of what that setup looks like. So I'm not sure if I did it the right way, but I don't care if I destroy the oil pump, the crankshaft, all this stuff is going to go in the bin anyway. So let's flip it over. We're going to make a hell of a mess. Let's drop the pan. Before we get started, I wanted to give you guys a good look at everything that's going to come off. So on the top of the diff here, you've got some big 14mm nuts that we're going to break loose. Let's look at the other side. Looks like you only have a couple here. So like normal, bad planning, I made a huge mess, but we're going to come underneath here. Looks like there's just a bunch of 14mm bolts all around. Got some little 10s where the oil pump is, more 14s, and little tiny guys. What are those? Like, those don't even look like 10s, those look like 8mm bolts here. But we'll get all these off. I still have to take off the rear main seal, which I should have done before I put it on the stand, so I'll fiddle with that, and I won't film that because that'll be a pain. Alright, let's start taking off these 14 mils. These look like pretty long guys depending on which one goes where. I'll leave them all where they were. Milwaukee is rocking this. No problem getting all these off. These are 10mm bolts. Get all these off. This is going to be so much fun to put back together. And I can't wait to get all this stuff professionally clean, like the oil pan. get it vapor honed. UP Garage has a vapor hone machine, so I'm going to take it up there, have Doug and Eric kind of check out how my stuff is looking. Get these zipped off real quick. And after this, we can flip the engine back over. We'll get that oil pump off. And for these little ones, I wanted to break them free by hand before putting like a drill on it, because I didn't want to snap any of them off. Where the big ones, I wasn't too concerned because I know those will withstand a little bit of pressure on them. We got one more right here. It all came off so easy. There we go. Okay, so everything's all loose. So it looks like we have some mounting hardware, just a bunch of little 10 mils here to secure the pump to the block. So I got my factory service manual here, and it says for removing the oil pan that you use a seal cutter, so it looks almost like a razor blade that's on the end of like some type of little tool, and you just basically like hit it in, and then that helps break up that RTB so you can get it out. But I don't have that, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go around all the edges, guys, and I'm going to clean up this RTV just by scraping it by hand, and slowly, I'll start to pry it apart. Once I get it close, I will film the lift off, so you guys can be here with me for that. Okay, so what I noticed looking at the backside of the block as I was cleaning around everything, getting all the RTV off, is this one little spot right here. So you've got a really nice solid surface here right against the block, and I'm pretty sure that if I just pry this up a little bit, it'll break that. You can hear it. There we go. So that's how I got mine off. The book doesn't show that, but to me that made sense, and I'll put you on the tripod, we'll lift it off. So that went okay. You guys could see where I was struggling. Basically the oil sump, little, what is that, the strainer stick, whatever, I don't know, the oil pickup, the oil, whatever, that's the thing that pulls oil from the bottom of the pan. It was getting stuck around this area here, so that's where I was a little jammed up. But we can look down at the bottom of the oil pan, see that grimy black material, same thing like back here. So to me it looks like grimy material. But I think the last thing that we're going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and just take the oil pump off. This is loose, just a paper gasket holds it on, so I set you on a tripod. We'll pull this off, and then I think I'm going to end the video here. I feel like there was enough content in just this video that it's going to probably already be about 15 to 20 minutes just with what I accomplished. And I think this will be a good point to start for the next video, because I can get all this stuff cleaned up, and then we can start with taking apart all this bottom part of the engine, all these pieces. I don't know exactly what they're called, so I'm kind of an RB26 noob and an engine noob. I've never taken apart an engine before, so. But bottom of the pan looks good. And tell me if you guys think this is the original engine, original RTV? Does it look like, are you guys seeing anything that gives you any signs that this motor has been apart before? Because I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here. Yeah, bottom of the crank. I don't know what I'll do. I'll do something with it, put it somewhere. So I'm just going to show you guys what I'm seeing here. There's this one little spot between the pump and the block that you can just stick a flathead in and just kind of wedge the two pieces apart to break that seal. Try to keep my hardware from falling out. And this should give me a little bit of resistance because the oil pump or the front seal's still on there and I lost all my hardware, darn it. Alright guys, pretty excited. Feels good to get to this part. I've had this like on my mind and been envisioning this for like 6 months, so it feels great to do it. I'm walking around kind of slow out here because, as you guys can see, I've got oil and freaking stuff everywhere, so it's slippery out here. But what I wanted to look at, last part of today's video, is I wanted to take a peek at the oil pump. So right away, guys, this is, I think, what our issue was. So see if I get the camera to focus here. Looking right here, these two screws, we can see that they are loose. These two right here, so they're just twisting free. Yeah, so that's not good. These other ones are still good. I'm not sure if that was causing, if oil was leaking out on this seal here, but that's not good how the backing plate is loose like that. So I want to take this apart. I'm going to just knock these other ones out, and then we'll take this apart and let's look at the oil pump gear on the inside real quick. So here's a peek at everything with the tapered screws out, and let's go ahead and take the back plate off. This looks just like that. And here's a look at that oil gear on the inside. And it's at least nice to see that there's no cracks or anything in it. You guys can see how it works. So as it spins, you can see how the little channels fill up, kind of like a rotary engine, and it pumps that oil along. So there we go, and if the camera will pick it up here, you could see the contact point. Even though this is like a 3/4 of an inch long, you only have the wear marks right here and here where it's contacting off the crank. And I wanted to show you guys this. So this is the short nose crank. So you guys can see that little tiny little nub there. That is where that oil gear, that's all that had little contact, is like compared to the tip of my finger, just that little tiny nub. So that's one of the reasons that the Gen 1 R32 crankshaft had issues with the oil pump. If you like hit red line and you're just bouncing off red line, sometimes it'll shatter that oil gear, and then your engine will be, you know, toasted alive because there's no circulation of oil. So that's going to be something we're going to definitely upgrade. I'm not sure which PRP or Nitto or whatever type of upgraded oil pump gear I'm going to do, or what type of oil pump I'm going to do. I'm going to do something better than stock, and I don't want to have oiling issues again. And I want to also have better backing plate bolts. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. More research. I haven't really looked into it, but I don't want to have issues with this coming off again. And something I was wondering on the oil pump when I reassemble, I don't know what this bottom bolt does. There's like some type of spring. I don't know how that works. And I can see when the oil pump gear is pumping, it goes through this orifice. It looks like it comes out of there and then into the block, and you get all these other little galleys for return or oil pressure going places. So kind of a little bit of an up close look for you guys. And let's get a little bit better look at that. So you can see just that little tiny contact point right there. So, I mean, that makes sense why these things shatter is your pinging red line. So looking at the backing plate on the inside of this oil pump, I'm not sure if that little groove right there, I mean that seems like that's machine in there, but I feel like there's more wear around these things than there should be. It's that little groove, that seems like that is machined into it, as well as into the back cover plate to help it rotate perfectly. And I wish I had some feeler tools so I could measure the tolerances of this stuff. But you guys can kind of see how it all works here. Pretty cool. You guys know what I'm excited about? I'm super excited to finally get my new WRX that's coming at the end of this month. I think it's due the 28th. I'm hoping to get it earlier so I can bring it down to California to Ours Day. But as much as I enjoy working on this type of stuff, I would much rather be driving the car and enjoying like track days and having a fun, you know, weekend drive with friends rather than my car being broken and sitting in my garage where I don't have enough time to work on it and trying to find time to get all this stuff done. GTR owners, I'm sure you guys can feel me on that, but I can't wait to drive the new WRX, and it's just gonna be nice to have a brand new car and be able to take it out. And yeah, I'm just excited about it. I'm tired of just working on busted down 30-year-old shit. But anyway guys, that is gonna be it for today's video. I have a huge freaking mess out here. I need to clean my floor. I need to organize my parts. I need to put stuff in Ziploc bags, get things labeled, and get things cleaned up. I'm going to go inside and start editing this video. Hopefully try to get it uploaded by tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll be back with the next episode where we'll take all this lower end stuff off. Take off the main girdle, all that stuff. And get the connecting rods, pistons, everything popped out, and let's get a look at the actual main bearings on the crankshaft. That's what I'm curious to see, if those things are toasted and what actually happened inside this engine at the track last summer. So anyway guys, I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take it here. You guys take it easy. Bye-bye.